Hey Say Radio, my name's Thomas Aucoin, and I'm here with Toronto's Talent with Tom and Tilly. We've got some really cool things to talk about, including some really cool people. But first, I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction. Tilly, would you want to go first?
Sure. Hello, my name's Tilly. You can call me Tilly because it's short. We're here, we're sitting in the booth, and we're just looking at Thomas and having a drink.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just going to be here. We're going to be trying to get as many interviews as possible because we really want to talk to the talent that we have here locally in Toronto. And including talent, we have our own very special guest right here. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Waled, ex-student at Seneca.
Oh, awesome. So, Waled, you are ex-student at Seneca. You've always been in Toronto, and we just sort of want to go over some really cool things that you're going to be doing really close to the near future. You have a cool show coming up. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I do. It's called King Lear.
And what exactly is it going to be? Give us like a synopsis. Don't spoil anything, obviously, but
it's a very dark show involving a lot of murder, betrayal, and
yeah, fun times to be had.
A lot of cleavage.
Oh my God! You hear that? So really, the gist is that you're going to be able to see the show for only $15. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
$15.
To steal.
Oh my God! That sounds like a night of fun. I'm going to be trying to be there. I believe Tilly as well.
There Thursday night.
Awesome. And just so the audience knows exactly when this show is going to be going on, why don't you give us the date exactly?
Yeah, it opens on Tuesday. That's our opening night, and we go until that Saturday. Tuesday to Friday, it's 8 p.m., and the Saturday, it's at 5 p.m.
Sweet. So, there's plenty of times you don't really have an excuse not to see this amazing show. And just to emphasize, these are all people that are part of the Toronto talent community. Mm-hmm. And I just sort of want to go into that a little bit more. We're going to get into your introduction and just a little bit of a story about yourself a bit later. But first, I just wanted to talk about this. Has your experience been being from Toronto, or at least living in Toronto, and being part of the Toronto talent? Is it a very good community? Have you found a lot of support in it, or otherwise? What do you find?
It's a give and take. I feel there is a lot of support, but there's also just people that are in it for themselves,
right? Which
I feel is in any industry. But me doing the other show that I did in the summer, which was another Shakespeare show called Love's Labour's Lost. Doing that, I met a lot of really cool people that got me involved in this show. So just connections are a huge thing in this industry.
Yeah, no, for sure. So you sort of make those bonds between people, which really solidifies where you want to be, and you support each other, and you back each other up no matter what you want to do. If I were to want to put on some silly radio show, I could go to my friends and say, hey, let's do something.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
No, that's really cool. So now before we go any further, the main thing I want to do is really to sort of build who you are. So where are you from exactly, and how did you find yourself in Toronto doing all these cool things that you've been doing?
Originally, I'm from Afghanistan. I was born there.
Awesome.
Moved to Pakistan when I was not even a month old, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. Lived there for 11 years and then moved here in 2005, and I've been in Scarborough, North York area ever since.
Cool.
And then I went to culinary school first, which was fun. No, it was great. I also met a bunch of really cool people doing that. Met a lot of really good friends that I still have. And then I came here because I've always wanted to do acting. Mm-hmm. That's always been a huge passion of mine since I was 6. And yeah, I thought this was a really good program because I wanted to mainly get into camera and TV kind of acting. No, acting. But it's weird because after finishing the program, the two main things I've done are both theater.
And is that sort of indicative of what you want to do now? Have you sort of leaned towards the stage acting, or are you still TV?
No, I just love performing and telling stories and making people feel different things for a specific reason, not just it's not just there for no reason. I feel like everything that I want to do or that I have done for a reason. every character that I've played, at least I choose those very carefully, which also is another really hard part because it's like, how do you do that when you're just like starting out? But
yeah,
I'm picky.
Yeah, for sure.
The answer is you make your own project, you do your own freelance acting.
Yeah.
Its own interesting and kind of complicated, convoluted world.
It is. Which I'm also trying to delve into. In the acting program at Seneca, the acting for camera and voice program, we had in our second semester a script writing class, and I fell in love with writing even more so than I already had. I did. And before that, I had only like ever written like poems or like stories. And when I first came here, when we had that class, I was like, oh, I can do this with this, and I always constantly like get ideas for scripts, which is kind of annoying because I can never focus enough to finish the one I've already started. I'm like, damn it, I have so many ideas.
If I could expose this a bit, in the summer, you asked me to help them over the film, and I got the Philip Fettis Google Docs folder, which must have been like dozens on dozens.
Oh, you mean the Celtics? Yeah. Celtics is the script writing thing that,
So you have a lot of ideas that you all want to have come to fruition.
And I don't want to forget them, so I start the script so I don't forget it. But then I'm like, I never get a chance to finish the one. But I'd rather that than not have any ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
So in the film that Attilio was talking about, we've shot it. It's just taking a long time it's finished editing basically because Attilio is great, but I've just been very busy with life and because I have to make the logo that I want for my quote unquote production company.
No, around 2 other jobs.
Well, yeah, so it's been craziness, but I'd rather that than not have anything going on.
Yeah, no, for sure. But like you can see just like from all the stuff that you've been doing that you really have a passion, just like a need to tell stories, which is like super, super awesome.
And that's one of the things with like everyone else, like pretty much everyone else in my class, they weren't extremely fond of writing.
Oh, okay.
There was only a few people that actually liked it a lot, and I was one of those few people. I like fell in love with it. So ever since that second semester of acting school, I started writing scripts even more. So like last November, I started writing a feature film that's like only halfway in, and I'm just like, life is crazy. And me writing all these other scripts that like the one we shot, I wrote that in one day, which never usually happens because I overthink everything. That like the idea for that just came to me, and I was like, I need to just do this. And that's one of the things I feel is probably going to help me and not hinder me, is that I do love acting. Like that's my main passion, but I'm fine also with telling stories from the writer's perspective, and I also want to direct. So I don't think that that's going to hinder me in any sense of, I just want to tell stories and make people feel things for...
This is the good medium for you to do it.
Yeah.
You can do all the sides of it, so you can be...
Well, I don't know how great I am at it, but I try.
I think you'll be really great. Yeah.
Thank you.
He was part of the second group I worked, because I worked as a TA for the acting group.
Yes, just as a bit of context.
Which is how I know him, and he's great.
We met in the winter of 2015 in that semester, because that was the first time working with their class. Camera 3, which is in the studio downstairs.
Yes.
The studio, we filmed with all the cameras, and then learn how to block the scene for multiple cameras and how to just pick up the different stuff. Like there's sitcom stuff, and then there's very dramatic stuff.
Which is my forte, or at least what I like doing most.
You're very dramatic now. So that's how Waled and I met, and now,
and we're best friends forever.
Oh boy. I'm a little ashamed because I can't match your current beard.
Oh my god, I wish you guys could see this beard right now, but
follow me on Instagram. I found Waled. You can see it,
and you can also see it in the upcoming play.
Yes, you can. It'll probably be a little tamer than this because I haven't shaved it for like 2 months.
If there was a description for unkempt, that it would be this right now. It is the definition. I never thought I would see the day. No, but it is actually really good.
It looks like it's short because it's really curly, but if I like pull it, it's so much longer than you think it is.
Wow, that's like compact.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm a grower, not a shower.
Yeah, I hope so. If you're no, that's awesome. But we're going to get a little bit more into in depth with the play coming up, and more about him as well. So stay tuned. But for now, we're going to listen to some cool tunes by our friends at Pyramid Therium here on Say Radio, the voice of Seneca College. back here at Save Radio, the voice of Seneca College. I'm Tom, and that is... And we're going to be talking with some talent from Toronto. So, we got an awesome guy on here. We're going to be talking about the play coming up. There's something, though, in particular that I really, really wanted to talk about, because we talked to him a little bit before the show, and it's something that sort of just, like, blew my mind. And that's being able to play multiple identities in the same show. Like, what? That's awesome. Why don't you speak a bit about that?
Yeah, this role has definitely been my most challenging, and I love it. No way am I complaining. I hate complaining about stuff like that, because I'm like, I want to be an actor. But no, this role, his name is Edgar, and in the play, the director wanted my voice to be a little bit deeper than it is for the character in general, which is fine. I can do that if I need to. And then, other than that, my dad's eyes get gouged out at one point, so I have to pretend to be someone else. My brother, who is my brother in the play, who is born out of wedlock and not my full brother. My dad in the play had an affair, and so he convinces me that my dad is trying to kill me for some reason.
Yeah.
And I believe him, because I guess I'm gullible and I trust him a lot, because we're brothers. And I'm the older brother, so I just, so I go in hiding and pretend to be someone else whose name is Tom O'Bedlam, and he's a crazy beggar man, basically. And for that, I have like a crazy, creepy voice. And then after my dad's eyes get gouged out, spoiler alert.
Read the book and watch the play. Like, come on, guys.
It is really old. It's Shakespeare. Yes, and then after that, I've had to pretend to be someone else, because he convinces me, or he tells me that he wants to kill himself. And so I take him to the cliff, and I pretend to be like, yeah, you can jump now. And then after he jumps, quote unquote, I pretend to be someone else, because I'm like, hey, you jumped off a cliff and you didn't die. And then after that, I go back to the kingdom to get revenge, and I have to pretend to be someone else there. And then I go back to my normal Edgar character at the end. And between those being other voices and other quote-unquote characters, I have moments of where I'm again myself. So I have to remember what voice and what voice I'm doing for which part, and then go back to the normal lower Edgar voice, which isn't mine either. So there's like a bunch of all these levels, which I love. And like, there's one specific scene where I am doing my crazy beggar man voice. I have one line in between what someone else says, and then the next line I have to be Edgar again, and I have to be really emotional. And then I have one line again to go back to the crazy beggar man voice. I love all the challenge of this character, and that's why I think it's a great fit. Yeah,
I really want to, like, that must be really difficult, just like that, like, put yourself in, like, it may not be a different character altogether, but like that, it is portraying something different, right? So like that I don't even know if I could do that. Like,
and at the time where I see my dad for the first time after his eyes are gouged out, I'm the crazy beggar man at that time, but I have to be emotional in my face, but not in my voice, because he can hear me, but he can't see me because he's blind at this point. But I can show my emotions on my face, because the audience has to know what I'm going through and all that, but I can't sound emotional. So it's great fun.
Yeah, no, that's like something that I couldn't even wrap my head around.
It's complicated stuff.
So yeah, come and check it out and see if I'm good or not. And also, I don't know if anybody wants to see this, but I'm practically naked in most of the plays. So,
so you know, if you didn't already have a reason to go see it, exactly. There is your main one right there.
As I said in the beginning, there's a lot of cleavage from the females. My full boobs are out.
All right, sign me up. I think I'm already there. No, it sounds like it's going to be like a really cool play, because like not only are you getting you and like your really cool roles, but it's like a really interesting story as well.
Yeah,
lots of twists and lots of turns. Like, you couldn't really ask for like a more dramatic play, really. No, which
is why I love it, because I love drama. Also, the way we're doing it, we're not setting it in Shakespeare time, so you won't be bored. It's very sort of modern, post-apocalyptic feel. So the costumes are very much in that sense, and like we DIY'd a bunch of them and like adding zippers and stuff. So it's really cool.
See, I'm glad you brought that up just then, because I was wondering. I watched you in July doing Love Labor's Lost.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty rad.
Oh, thank you.
The guy with the handlebars. I don't know what his name is.
Kyle. Yeah, he's in this play too. He's the one who gouges out my dad's eyes.
Wow, rude.
So I was just going to ask you about, like, because that was 3 months ago now, and you're doing King Lear now. Yes. I was kind of wondering, through whoever it is sets up, through Mortar and Pestle, how you guys get the ball rolling onto the next thing. Like, if you can tell us any of the process of that.
The Love's Livers Love was actually part of Bard in the Park, which we perform outside in a park, which has its own challenges.
Sure did.
The opening night was so windy, we couldn't hear ourselves. So I'm like, I don't even know if the audience can hear us. And that was the night where a reviewer came in. So it was great. But yeah, with that Bard in the Park, there was a character in there named Costard, who had like crazy hair, which is great, which I did. It was so much fun. And her real name is Melissa Beveridge. She's amazing. She is the owner of this theater company, Mortar and Pestle. And she's also the producer of the other play. Yeah. And with this one, this is only their second show, so it's great to be a part of something that's just starting as this radio show as well.
Yes, thanks.
And so when she told me she asked me if I was interested in being King Lear, I was like, yeah, I'd love to be in King Lear. And then because I hadn't read it, but I knew sort of what it was about. Yeah. And then after I read it, I was like, I love this show. And I like really wanted to play Edgar or Edmund, but I genuinely fit Edgar more so because Edmund is actually a bastard. And he is also not a great person. I mean, depending on how you look at it. So my character fits me more in that sense where I am very emotional in general, and it's very easy for me to sort of get into that. Sometimes.
You don't say.
Yeah. He has like known me for a while, so he knows how emotional I can be sometimes.
I've been there.
Yeah, so that's how this started, and she was saying she wanted to, because Melissa, she wants to be a real thing, obviously, and she's putting so much hard work into it and so much money, which obviously you do when you're starting something like this. And like a bunch of us are just like helping as much as we possibly can, so that's why I like help behind the scenes and stuff.
So that's what I was curious about, because you did it in the park, and now you're in a theater this time. Yeah.
The place is called Gerard Art Space. So if you guys want to come, it's Gerard and Coxwell. And this is inside. The place is very intimate. It only seats about 50 people. And there's no like pedestal, so it's like just everyone's like on the same level. Yeah.
So it's really just like, I'm getting the feel that like it's not just a play, because like usually when you go see plays, it's like a huge production, and it's just like it's separate from the audience. This is like more of like a personal feel.
It's very intimate. Like you will not be able to escape the goriness of at times and the emotionality of it, because you're so close, which almost is easier for me to get into because of acting for camera is what I'm used to, and the camera's like right there.
So is it going to be like so gory that we're going to like have to have a splash zone or something like that? Or
I'm actually not 100% sure yet. I don't think so.
I'm going to bring like a parka just in case or something like that. Yeah,
like the Maid of the Mist parkas. No, I don't think so. But I mean, hey, it's all blood, sweat, and tears that are always involved in these kinds of things.
Yeah, for sure.
And also is on the audience at some points.
I also might be on the audience at one point.
That's okay.
Different story.
I'll catch you.
All right, so that was about it, though. That was a great interview. I really hope that the show goes well, and I hope to see it, and I hope to see all of you guys out there too. This is something that is like, it's not only cool, but it supports local Torontarians and all of us here at Say Radio, the voice of Seneca College. So I hope you had a great time, and we hope to have you on again.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. Anytime.
All right. Up next, we got Adam Tobias with an awesome interview about some music, but we're going to give you a little bit of a tease with one of his songs from his last album with Am Jam here on Say Radio, the voice of Seneca College. and welcome back to Toronto Talent with Tom and me. That's right, silly. So we just talked to an awesome actor and about his sort of stuff, but now we're going to the flip side. We're going to be talking about the auditory part of talent, which is the musics and the talent behind it. So we have here Adam Tobias.
Hello.
And we're going to let him sort of introduce himself and talk about who he is. So you have the floor.
And the floor is quite nice in here, actually, I must say. Hi, guys. I'm Adam Tobias, and I'm an independent musician from Toronto, Ontario, this gorgeous city of ours. Mm-hmm. And, I write music.
Do you ever?
Oh, boy. Sometimes. Other times I just write trash, but, sometimes it turns out decent, like you might have just heard. That one wasn't half bad. So,
no,
yeah.
I would say that one was above average.
Thank you.
For, actual music. I don't know if I could put it, above average of the rest of your music, because they're all about, great. So, but as far as music goes, it's above average.
See, this is why I like being on the radio, because no one can see me blush, but we're live streaming, so it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
So, continuing on Facebook, hello. So you got a couple people on there, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah, and if you're on Facebook, maybe you can tune in so you can get a bit of a better audio quality. You're on Say Radio, the voice of Seneca College, so that's a selfless plug for us.
The voice of Seneca College.
The voice.
The voice.
So thanks for coming, Adam.
Thanks for
it was really awesome for you. I've interviewed you before about your CD and a concert that you were doing.
Yeah, back when Earth Hour was happening.
Yes,
actually.
and that was not a great show, only because I remember the bar was no amps, but everything else is going on at the same time.
It wasn't even that it was a great show. It was just there was just a lot going on.
Yes,
that night.
Exactly.
There were a lot of people.
The performance of the crowd were great. Everybody was listening, and even the people that just sort of walked in were just this is awesome. This guy was really pouring his heart into this music, which is awesome. But the bar itself, I'm not going to say any names, and it wasn't terrible, but just there was flashing lights and there was a lot of talking, and it was just
Yeah, it was just one of those gigs, man. It was just kind of I don't know, things happen in kind of a weird way, but it was cool because towards the end of the night, it was you know what? I'm only playing to literally half of the bar because the place was so long.
And there was no amps.
There were no amps, right? And there was no PA system because it was for Earth Hour, so we had to turn everything off, which was weird because I guess the game kept going on, which was all right. So at one point, I just kind of you know what? I can pretty much play whatever I want, and so for the next 30 minutes, I straight improvised.
Nice.
And it was fantastic. Great practice experience. Don't ever do that live.
No, that was no. I gotta say, it was probably one of my favorite performances I've seen you do. Just because you were able to get up and you walked in between the crowds and the table and play directly to people. It was you were playing a melody strictly for them. It was really, really romantic even.
Oh.
So that was really cool.
Yeah, there was this one couple I remember right down at the end, and I'm pretty sure it was a first date type thing. This guy was working real hard to try and move this girl real hard.
I hoped it worked well for him.
I don't have no idea, but I basically walked over and I was a ballad for the two of you, and he looked at me and he was just
Probably wasn't expecting it at all. He was just well, let's go see a movie after this, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe you can just take me home.
Wow. Oh, damn. No, that was really cool. So I highly suggest look out for any sort of upcoming live performance from Adam, because he's really, really into the live performance, and he does really whenever he can.
And coming up actually.
Oh, why don't we talk about that right now?
All right, jump right into it. Yeah. So on November 16th, I will be returning to the Paddock Tavern in downtown Toronto for Indie Week this year. I'm so excited to be a part of this. This has been one of my favorite kind of ongoing festivals. They get to display a lot of amazing talent, and I've met a lot of really great connections and great people through Indie Week in the past. But this is actually my first time performing. So I'm going to be on at 8:30 p.m. on November 16th at the Paddock Tavern, which is also awesome because that's kind of a return to form for me, because the last time I played at the Paddock Tavern was actually for the Acrylic Skyline release, and
that was amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. There's so many things happened that night. It was incredible. It was a very magical evening, to say the least.
And I just sort of want to share a little bit of a story that I've actually really kept dear to my heart ever since I saw Adam play for the first time, which let me just take you a little back. It was one of those performances where there was opening acts, there was musicians who came on with vocals, and they had bass players and of everything, this, that, and the other. And they were all really great. They're all best performances that I've saw for a long time, and that's saying a lot since I get to see a lot of musicians. But they were really great, and you could see that they were very passionate about it. And they kept on going, one after another, lining up and doing their performances, which were great. But then Adam steps on the stage. And Adam steps on the stage.
The lights go down.
Yes.
The fog machines start rolling.
No mic by him. Just his guitar. And he just plays, and it captivated the whole audience. It was like, it was one of the strangest but coolest things ever seen, because everybody else until then all had vocals, so, it sort of brings a different tone to it. And then Adam gets up there, and with just his guitar could do the same, if not more, than everybody else in that room, because he really did take the breath out of people as he played. And I'm not just flirting with him for the sake of it. It is really great.
You haven't even bought me dinner yet, so I mean,
Wow. I think we're past that point now.
We really are.
So I did really want to bring that up. But I also wanted to talk to you, and we sort of had a couple questions, because this show is going to be about Toronto's talent and about like people being in the industry in different ways, and showing that really there is this community that you can be a part of. What are your sort of thoughts on, good or bad, about the Toronto community when it comes to the industry of media and just entertainment?
Well, let me backtrack for 1 second, because I did want to say while we're on the air, congrats, gentlemen, on the show.
Hey.
Beautiful. I've been a long time fan of what these guys do, and so it's great to see them both having their own show now, which is awesome. But in terms of like the community in itself, it just it's so vast and it runs so deep, and it's interesting because anybody at face value, just like looking at I guess the media the media forms that come out of Toronto, it's easy to just kind of take it all for granted. But when you get to be a part of it, and it is an honor to be a part of it, because you'll realize the talent, and I've said the exact same thing before on your show.
That didn't get to see the light of day, sadly.
That's okay, but like this one will, and I'll say it again, is that the talent in this city runs so deep, and I go to shows fairly regularly. I like to try and be a part of the community and support the brothers in arms, so to speak. But you always walk away amazed. See, my thing is I like to slot myself as a guy who doesn't sing and it just has a guitar on stage. I like to slot myself with people who play various types of music, because slotting yourself just in the indie scene or just in the prog scene or in the art rock scene or something like that, you tend to pigeonhole yourself. So I tend to kind of sluishly move around.
You've been able to get to know everybody from every sort of genre, which is great. You're not leaving any doors closed.
Well, that's the thing, and you don't want to leave any doors closed. You want to have as many doors open as possible. But yeah, and you realize if you integrate yourself into this community, you're going to meet the most colorful group of people you've ever met, people from all walks of life with all different types of talent, and that's kind of been my goal over the last couple of years, is to really integrate myself into the community, into many communities, actually. I just finished a program at Mohawk College in April.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to Mohawk College if you're listening. And if you are thinking of studying music, I would definitely recommend Mohawk. Hamilton's a great place to grow as a musician as well. But that's another example of a community that's growing right now with their music and their art. You have things like Art Crawl and things like that in Hamilton that are huge. But coming back to Toronto, if you integrate yourself into this community, you'll find that there are just so many people with so many different types of talents. And the best part about that is to get to work with different mediums, like coming on radio shows or playing an art show, for example, or something like that, where you're supporting other mediums of art and not just your own, because that, I feel, is almost selfish in a way,
Yeah, no, for sure. That's sort of like a really interesting thing that you just said there, which is like you sort of get as much as you put into it.
You really do. Yeah.
So you got lots of people who want to be part of the industry, and they sort of want to get their name out there, but they don't really know where to start.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing to do is just to put yourself out there.
Exactly.
Like, see what people say, and it might be bad. They might have criticisms, but it's all in good faith, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Right? So, I mean, there might be a point where you think, well, everybody hates my stuff, so I'm not going to be putting it out there. But
story of my life.
Everybody's life.
Until he was anxiety, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, I think we all have that sort of similar goal where we just sort of want to be a part of something. And because we have so many people here in Toronto, we're able to sort of get that community a lot faster and a lot more easily without going into the deep end of where everybody sort of hates on each other and stuff like that.
The internet. Yeah, the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
But that community is also alive in the scene too, which is really unfortunate because you will get a lot of people who will go to shows and they will rip into bands and they'll rip into artists. And I've never really understood it because at the end of the day, we're all on our own hustle and we're all trying to make something of ourselves. And if we're all kind of in that together, then there's really no point in slamming the other guy because he's out for it just as badly as you are, right? And so, that's, I think, the whole purpose of the community itself is to kind of enlighten people to the fact that you shouldn't be hating on other people's music. Everyone is out there for their own the same way you're out there for your own. And there's never, like, really... It doesn't ever come off competitive. I mean, if you get into showcases and things like that, it'll be a little bit different. People tend to act inappropriately. I speak from experience. Not me, but other people tend to act very inappropriately when it comes to showcases and music competitions and stuff. And it's kind of turned me off of that whole section of that scene altogether as a result.
Yeah, for sure. But I think you've sort of that's I think a path that a lot of people sort of go because they want to get into the industry. So they sort of they want to force their way through by any means possible, whether it be like competing or just doing a lot of showcases where you've sort of taken the tone to doing live shows and have a commitment to doing live and performing as much as you can and having a steady following increasing to this point today where it's like I've actually met someone who knew you and knew my shirt that I've bought from you and I was like, that's awesome.
Man, seeing T-shirts out in the wild is actually the strangest thing. I was at Gojira on,
nice.
I think it was a T-shirt. If I was watching, but I think it was Thursday night. Thursday night, and I saw somebody with an Adam Tobias T-shirt, which was the weirdest thing. And I walked up and put my hand on his shoulder. And I'm like, nice shirt. And he looked at me and he was like, thanks, man. And he turned and walked away, and then he turned back, and I looked at him, and I just kind of pointed at him like, you're the man. And but seeing a T-shirt out in the wild is still the most surreal thing ever. And the weird part is he looked vaguely familiar, but I'm still not used to seeing people that I don't know personally wearing my brand.
Oh my god, that's got to be the coolest feeling at the same time, a little bit scary.
Very humbling.
Yeah,
and it's terrifying though, too. You're right, because you're like, oh my god, so it's out in the wild. There are people and they have my shirt. What? This is weird. But
no, that's really cool. We're going to get a little bit more into your performances and some upcoming stuff in a little bit, but I want to just showcase a little bit of what you've done so far here on Say Radio, the voice of Seneca College.
Check it out.
Welcome back to Toronto's Talent with Tom and
Till.
That's right.
Hello.
With, of course, Adam Tobias here as well.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back.
And,
yeah. I was just wondering, Thomas brought it up before that you were playing the show and then there were all these guys, there were the bands, and then you came up, no microphone, just a guitar. I was, out of curiosity, being just instrumental and not having a voice and relying on the guitar to do that instead, does that like make any hurdles get in your way at all when you're trying to promote yourself or set up gigs or anything like that?
Yeah, it does. First of all, it's anxiety inducing. Oh. But no, in all honesty though, it does, because a lot of people, like, I've kind of fallen under the moniker of, and it's kind of a dirty word to some people, but from what I've heard, this is what I'll take, progressive music.
Oh.
And which is nice.
See that.
Yeah. And so, but when you're trying to get a press kit out to people and they want to, promoters and the like, they kind of want to look at you and say, okay, he dresses this way, he's got an acoustic guitar, he must be a folk artist.
Yeah.
Or he must be playing country, or he must be playing this or that or the next thing. And it's not until they listen that they go, oh, okay, this isn't any of that. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it is quite difficult. There are a lot of calls left unreturned. But at the same time, it does help filter where I'm going to be playing, which is great, because when you get to a venue that has a really solid promoter, they see what you're doing, they understand it. They really want to work towards helping you with that, helping you get that out there. So in effect, it actually ends up being that you get put in touch with more of the right people quicker than you would by having to filter through the waves and waves of promoters in Toronto. Yeah. And it's a good thing and a bad thing, because there are some missed connections, and there are some missed calls. But past that, it's kind of helped me grow a pretty tight inner circle, which I really like. Because it's just a sea out there, an ocean of promoters, and you know, some of them are great and some of them are not. So
has that given you like more control over the last, like when you started gigging, started making your own music and trying to put out there, and like, did that help you in that way?
It helped and it hindered. It in effect, it did both, because again, I'm going to put this properly, but I don't want to offend anybody, because I know there's a few.
Take your time. We got all the time in the world.
Beautiful. But yeah, it's helped and it's hindered in effect. It's helped in the sense that, like, my inner circle is very kind of a focused group of people that, like, kind of get what I'm trying to put across. And have actually helped me open a lot of other doors, such as Indie Week actually this year. Nice. I don't know if Daryl Harris is listening, but you're the man, Daryl.
You're the man, buddy.
He was the one who actually put the bug in my ear this year about playing Indie Week in the first place. And because, that was another big hurdle is getting in. And my goal right now is to try and get into festivals and whatnot. Like Winter Folk Festival is coming up in the Hamilton area and whatnot, and I'm probably going to want to get on board with that. But the next step from here is getting into festivals, and that's what the kind of inner circle that I have right now have all been telling me. Yeah. So it's hindered in the sense, just to come back to the actual question and answer it, it's hindered in the sense that I don't always make connections with the people that I want to be making connections with, but it's helped in the sense that I get to make connections with people who want to make connections with me, which I feel is equally as important.
And there's got to be some benefit to, like, say if there's somebody who's doing like a film or whatever and they want to score it or something, like there's got to be ins for that for you, like in that kind of scene, right?
Absolutely, yes. And that's I guess that's right into the next point.
I also just sort of wanted to talk about a little bit about the attitude that you sort of bring to all of this, that you've sort of you've always sort of kept a positive attitude where, like, you keep on knocking on doors, and sure, you might see rejection here or there,
of course,
but you keep on knocking, and you keep on pushing and you pushing because you truly believe in your music. And I think now that because you have that confidence, and of course it wavers because every musician and every artist has that waver, but you get back up and you say, no, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to be doing, either like it or don't. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. And that's really what it comes down to at the end, because there have been a lot of situations in the past where the one thing I get a lot is, oh, you're an instrumentalist, you should work with a rapper. And that is infuriating. But yeah, that's kind of a frustrating thing because then people see you as a producer instead of a musician, and it's like, oh, you should just put a beat on the back of this and you know send it off to I don't know, DJ Who Kid or something.
So if you're a rapper out there, contact Adam Tobias. You can know.
99-cent beats on Instagram.
Yeah,
wow.
no, seriously.
Yeah, no. It does propose. It does present a lot of issues. But yeah, you keep on knocking, and I feel like there comes to a point where you have to. I was having a conversation with a friend a few days ago where like you have to have some sort of a sacrifice before you put your foot down and say, this is my brand, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and keep on knocking on doors. And once you've kind of had a moment where you've had to give something away in order to pursue this, which I have, and a lot of artists in Toronto and anywhere for that matter will attest to the exact same thing. There has to be some sort of a sacrifice. For me, it was giving up a law career. And so once that happened, then I came to the realization that this isn't going to be me, this is what this is. You start to develop confidence in it because there's nothing else, right? So it's kind of a dire straits type of situation, but every great musician's probably gone through the same thing. I feel like they have, man. And I'm not saying that I'm one of those great musicians, but saying that I again, radio can't see me blush, but the camera still can. Oh boy. So thank you for that. But you get to a point where you have to build confidence in it because in this industry, especially at this time right now, with the waters are huge and it's filled with sharks and everyone's out for their own. So and everybody who's out for their own and is getting their own and is making their own way, they believe in what they do, and so you either have to join them or fail because you're not going to beat them, and there's no beating that mentality. That's the mentality that wins, is having confidence in yourself and believing in it. Well, I think you pushing back and showing that strong foot and who you are and what you're going to do is really a sign of winning in my books. Thank you. But we're going to be starting to wrap up. I just want to give you a little bit of time to plug where you can find all your awesome music, which you've been listening to, and you will hear a little bit more in a second. But so the EP that you guys have been currently listening to is called Acrylic Skyline, and you can get it at adamtobiasmusic.bandcamp.com. You can follow me on social media on Facebook, Adam Tobias Music, and on Instagram at Adam Tobias Music. And you can catch me at the Paddock Tavern on November 16th at 8:30 p.m. for your listening pleasure. Check it. Indie Week. Awesome. Check it. So definitely go check that out. First, we're going to be playing a Queens of the Stone Age song, I Sat by the Ocean, here on Say Radio, and then we're going to have a really, really special performance by Adam Tobias here on Say Radio, the voice of Seneca College. Check it. That was I Sat by the Ocean by Queens of the Stone Age. I'm Thomas Agoyan with, of course, Tilly here on Talented in Toronto. But right now, very special moment, first time performing Adam Tobias live with his new piece. And this song is called All of the Wonders Above Us.
That was amazing. I just want to have a little of a wrap up. Thank you both for coming on. You're both a talented part of Toronto, and I really just wanted to say thank you for coming on. From me and from Tilly.
Hello.
We're going to say sayonara and hope to see you both next time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Until next time, guys. But I'm going to play a bit of music so you can start listening to that good old pop.